Once you have a customer who has agreed to buy the website from you, you'll need a way to collect the money. And of course, you need to collect the money before you turn the website over to the customer. Now, depending on the customer, some will want to pay by check, some will want to pay by PayPal, some will want to pay by credit card. But before that even occurs in conversation with a customer, I encourage you to create an escrow.com transaction first. And here's why. Receiving money by PayPal is not secure. And the reason for that is a customer can file a dispute with PayPal and you'll lose the money on the transaction. Fortunately, it doesn't happen too often, but why take the chance? You're much better off using a service like escrow.com that protects both sides. It protects you and it protects the customer. Most customers appreciate using escrow.com because they realize they're protected as well as you are. The fee is very reasonable. It ranges between 3-point-something% to 6-point-something%, depending on the level of service. But what's nice about this is you can split the fee with the buyer, so you're only paying half of that fee. I've always done it this way myself, and I have never had any complaint from the customer. So what you do, once you've established an agreement with a customer, and let's say they're ready to buy, well, you come to escrow.com and create a transaction. And once you do that, it will automatically notify your customer and they will follow the procedure that escrow.com sends them. It's a real simple process. Once you create the transaction, you're putting in your customer's email address, so escrow.com takes it from there. They'll send all the correspondence. They'll send you and your customer the steps as they happen. When it's the right time for you to send the domain name to your customer, they'll tell you. When they've received payment from the customer, they'll let you know. Once the customer receives the domain name and the customer verifies, they will then release the funds to you. So I'll log into my account to show you what it looks like. Here's the dashboard you see when you log in, and you click on Start a New Transaction. Type of transaction, they give you choices between domain name, general merchandise, motor vehicle, or milestone transactions. Go with domain name. Your role is the seller, and click Continue. Transaction title, I would simply put the name of the domain name here. Email address of the buyer, of course, use their email address that they've provided to you. Who will pay for the escrow fee? Split it 50-50. Or if you're feeling generous, take it all on yourself, but 50-50 is what I usually use. And then they ask you domain name type, without content, with content, domain name holding. Now, here's an important thing. If you choose with content, the process is much more complicated. So I highly recommend you using the without content feature because that makes the transaction much quicker and much easier on both sides. Once the transaction completes, you can install the website on your customer's domain name. Length of inspection period, you can leave it at 3. Sometimes I'll put it at 2 if I'm in a hurry, but 3 is a good time allotment. It gives the customer that many days to inspect the domain name to make sure they've received it. So, most customers will do it right away anyway. And the currency, of course, you choose your currency. Then click Continue. And that's all there is to it. You create the transaction. Once you do that, you'll both be sent notices every time another step in the process occurs. And it generally takes 2 or 3 days to complete the transaction, depending on how responsive your customer is to follow the steps. And both sides are fully protected. So it's a beautiful system. Now, what if your customer wants to pay by check or credit card or PayPal? Well, they can do all of those things right within escrow.com. So there should be no issue there. And you don't have to worry about collecting those payments in a different way. Escrow.com handles all of the transaction for you. And in the next video, I'll show you what you need to do to transfer the actual domain name and the website to your customer.